welcome to Super Media All-Stars. We're back today with a video special going over our Video Game Awards and top 5 games of 2018 from the panel here. I'm your host, John Harris, and I'm joined by 3 other All-Stars. First one being Brent Harris.
Hey.
Jake Boston.
It's 2019 now, so I'm hoping that the dance flossing bullshit is done.
We'll see.
It's done.
We can all agree on that.
It's the new hammer dance.
And Andy Guild.
You'd be surprised how much work goes behind this simple production. But it's staggering. It's been an hour since we got here.
It's been almost a year since we've done a video special, so I'm pretty excited to dive into what we're considering the top games of 2018. How this is going to work is we kind of came up with our own obscure awards that we're going to hand out, and then our own individual top 5 games of 2018.
That's right, folks. The SMAS-Ys are back.
Is that what we landed on?
That's what we did last year.
I wasn't in the room for that.
The SMAS-Ys.
Smassies.
We're hoping on a diverse group of games because I'm not sure exactly everything these guys have played this year. So we're going to dive into things with starting off with the Video Game Awards. And kicking off the first award is the most time-consuming game or the game that you most sunk the time into in 2018. So I'll go ahead and kick this one off.
Do it, John.
After returning to this game later in the year and still currently,
Okay.
Octopath Traveler.
I saw you playing
Ooh.
that today.
Uh-huh.
I was playing my
Wow.
Switch. It's like, oh, hey, John's playing this still.
So, much like the majority of the people who played this game,
Yeah.
I stepped away for probably 3 months when Spider-Man came out.
Did you finish it the first time?
No.
Okay.
But after getting back to it, I pretty much wrapped up 75% of the stories, and I'm enjoying my time even more so.
With this award, do you have an estimate as to how many hours you put into it?
I think right now I'm at 60,
Okay.
That sounds about right.
which
Very
in
good.
comparison to previous years, that's actually toned down
Sure.
for me. Especially with last year with Breath of the Wild. That was like a 100-hour game
Oh,
last year.
yeah, that was a disgustingly long
Yeah.
game.
Definitely.
And I predict another 20 hours in Octopath at least. Because it's come out, I'm not sure if this is a spoiler, but there is a secret final boss to that game.
Oh.
Oh, my God.
I've not heard of this. I got to get back
No.
into it.
And after a sequential side quest story, you unlock this final boss. And it is traditional JRPG in that sense where it is a tough one. So I'm excited. I'm excited to get there.
Interesting.
Glad
No-
someone's excited.
And the only reason I found out about it is because I came across the final boss soundtrack or this track for that boss.
Cool.
Okay.
So, and it's
yeah.
awesome. So
Okay.
it inspired me to keep playing. But anyway, what about you guys?
I'll go next.
Yeah, let's just go around
You
the
got
table.
to tell
I
us
like this.
who's going.
Sorry.
All right. So my most time sunk would probably have to be the newest World of Warcraft expansion,
Oh.
which
Okay.
it's
That's
just
Brent to a T.
well, it's just I'm sure Andy hour wise is probably actually WoW too.
I'm probably right there with you. I think I spent a little more time on something else, but I almost put down the WoW expansion
That was
too.
Battle of Azeroth?
Yep.
Yeah, Battle for Azeroth.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
4. They're trying to save it. Okay.
My
The,
bad.
Leveling system alone takes like 10 to 15 hours for one character, and I did that twice. So that's 20 to 30 right there. And then
Okay.
all the end game content that I did. So if it's not a PC game or MMO, because it's kind of in its own category, it'd be Octopath.
Okay.
I think I sunk 60 plus hours in that too. So
What was your total on Warcraft for that expansion?
just the expansion.
Do both, Brent.
He started sweating.
yeah. Sadly, they actually put that in so that you can know
Yeah.
as a command.
No, it's great. I love that type of stuff.
Do you also feel like I feel like at some point they reset your /played time? Because I went and did it last expansion, and I was like, there's no way that's all I've played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This expansion probably, I don't know, 150 hours maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
that's-
no big deal.
On the Warcraft spectrum, I think that's pretty toned down.
Yeah,
It
that's
is.
definitely toned down.
Yeah.
Do you think you have over 1,000 hours in Warcraft?
Oh
Easily.
yeah, I'm
Yeah?
sure it's hundreds of days worth of playtime.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gross.
Man.
Yeah.
All right, Jake, what are you feeling?
I don't know if this is a cheat or not, but this is an ongoing game
Okay.
for me. It didn't come out this year. It came out like 3 years ago, but I hopped back into Pokemon Go. And that's definitely the game that I've sunk the most time into. I've easily done at least 10 hours a week.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's gross, and I'm not proud of myself at all. I don't like this as my answer, but
And that's not even like pure playtime. That's like planning to go somewhere and then going and all that. Yeah.
yep,
That's,
like
makes sense.
planning out routes. I drive for a living, so I know where to go, where I can get the most Pokestops and gifts, and how to XP grind like
Starting to
crazy.
sound like Anthony.
Yeah, I know. It's scary. It's very scary. Like I'm playing more than Anthony is now.
And for the record, when did you jump back into Pokemon Let's Go this year?
It was late in summer. It was like late August, early September.
So probably the last 6 months of 2018.
Yeah,
really.
5. Yeah, I would say 4 or 5 months, and I would say I'm close to 150 hours just doing that.
Wow.
I got back in, and it just sunk its teeth into me. I'm all in on that game, and I'm still playing it. It's disgusting. Don't judge me.
Nice, very nice. All right, Andy, what are you feeling?
Well, now that I think about it, I'm probably around where Brent is. Maybe not as much on WoW, but I'm going to go with Hollow Knight, which came out on the Switch this year as a port. But
What?
it actually came out last year. I think I probably did 60 to 70 hours in Hollow Knight.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna do more than
No,
150.
no.
I was gonna say Hollow Knight, really?
Yeah, I mean, if I think about it, I might have put about 80 into WoW, honestly, which is also disgusting. But a lot of that is like sitting around waiting for bullshit to happen.
Yeah.
I might get back to WoW later. But yeah, Hollow Knight, it takes a lot of time if you're like me and you like a game a lot, you refuse to look up any guides or anything.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of secrets and different paths you can go on. And I really loved the game, and it's got a ton of content. The Switch version has like 2 expansions on it, I think. So I really got into that about midway through the year.
It was successful. It was successful for the Switch.
Yeah,
and for the
it did.
developer.
It did bonkers on the Switch, which I mean that's kind of a theme with a lot of indie games now.
Yeah.
They're porting a lot of stuff, so it's kind of weird because there's not a lot of stuff I feel like that came out this year, but a lot of stuff getting ported to the Switch you discover for the first time. And I wanted to give some more awards to that stuff, but Hollow Knight is the only one I will mention.
There you go.
I'm a cheap ass, and I waited for that to go on sale. It was just it was on sale for like $9.80 on the eShop.
Yeah, that's such a good deal.
It's a really good game.
Oof.
The collector in me really likes the digital code that comes with the Hollow Knight plush at Best Buy.
Come with a digital
Oh,
copy.
no way.
Come on. Or I wish it didn't come with a digital copy.
I
I wish it came
know.
with a physical release.
But it's like, I think it's like $30 for the game and a cool, Switch stand / plush.
Yeah, but
Oh, wow.
I would never take the plush out because it looks nice in its case.
It does look really nice.
And normally I just want to like break open all my toys. But
That's true.
That one would be a good like piece just to show.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I saw it too. Mm-hmm. All right, our next award is the biggest surprise. So this can be interpreted different ways. It could be a surprise within a game announcement, or maybe just game community news. So depending on how you interpret this, I'm going to throw it to Brent first with your award.
Biggest surprise. I had no idea this game was coming, and I was kind of hesitant because I wasn't really passionate about the game as a kid. But my biggest surprise for 2018 was by far Tetris Effect VR.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. John got it for his PlayStation VR. And like I said, I didn't think anything of it because I wasn't a big Tetris fan as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But, oh my God, the visuals in this game and the sounds, the audio in this game is
Yes, sir.
outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
So,
All right, Jake, what are you thinking?
I went not in a game, but like for the future of gaming in general. There were my legs. My pick for biggest surprise would have to be Xbox Game Pass.
Oh, nice.
Number one, I think they sold it for $20. I think it's normally $20 a month,
Wow.
and you get every single first-party Xbox game for free. It just comes included with that. And I feel like they're slowly trying to push the future of gaming that way, and it's weird that Microsoft has like the first deal on there.
Right.
So
All right, let's throw it to Andy with your biggest surprise.
I went with another kind of general news thing, and I think this might affect gaming going forward. I'm gonna go with the kind of the disappointment of a couple of big AAA releases near the end of the year, specifically Fallout 76 and Battlefield 5.
Oh, gotcha.
Because
I kind
they,
of forgot that came out.
yeah, exactly. Battlefield 5 got pushed back, and then everyone kind of forgot about it.
Yep.
And it was a big title release that, it got released.
Got overshadowed.
And I think kind of the big themes that come from this, you've got monetization. I think people are really pushing back on that now.
Right.
And kind of this yearly or bi-yearly release schedule that you're putting out basically the same thing over and over. Madden and FIFA are huge
Yeah.
cash cows.
Any sports titles
Yeah.
really can get away with that.
Huge cash cows, and now people are starting to kind of. You don't like to say wake up because that's like a conspiracy theory thing, but people are starting to wake up to the idea that you don't want to buy the same exact product year after year after year. So I think that kind of affects things moving forward. Consumers are not going to want these $60 games with microtransactions built on top of it. I think you're going to see cheaper games like that, or possibly more expensive like single player AAA releases. Because if you think about it, games have been $60 since like Super Nintendo.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, even
Basically.
more expensive at some
Yeah, they were
points.
more expensive. Yeah, I think they were $80 releasing on Super Nintendo for big titles.
I remember like Resident Evil 2 was $80 for N64 just because they had to pack so
Yep.
much in there.
And now it's like, hey, everything's $60, and development costs are going way up.
Yeah.
There's no way that's sustainable.
No.
So I think that's what breeds this whole microtransaction yearly release thing, and I think that probably has to change, not this year, but at some point they're gonna have to start charging more for these
And I think like we've had discussions throughout the year that there's good ways of going about it, but there's leaders of people doing it bad.
Right.
So that balance is yet to be found exactly where is the medium on that.
Yeah.
So 'cause we've talked about Overwatch, we've talked about what Warcraft does. Blizzard has a system in place, but things like EA and Bethesda.
I'm talking about 76. How
Yeah.
everything's like what they said, that was like $5 for a party hat.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
exactly.
Okay. Yeah. No one, who's gonna buy that?
I think you had to actually pay money to get like a red dot laser.
Yeah. That was
like $1 to get
yeah.
that.
for
I know.
Battlefield or Call of Duty. I can't
Yeah.
remember.
So I think
yeah,
it was
for
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty's Battle Royale.
That's
Yep,
right.
That was what it was.
Like, that's so stupid.
You're buying a JPEG. It's
Yeah.
insane.
All right, to come full circle, my biggest surprise was also Tetris Effect.
Okay. Wow. Harris Brothers.
Yeah. This game was on my radar, but it kind of got shuffled into the fall mix. So when I received it, I wasn't like on the edge of my seat waiting to play it. But once I popped it in, put on the VR set, which my VR had not been touched within months, if not just a year of putting that thing on. But now it's got the most use it's ever had with this game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's good.
When I can play it for hours and Danielle can play it for hours and it's still fresh and relaxing and the music is still good, like that's something cool. That's something special.
VR has had like a sneakily good 2018.
Yeah.
I've heard nothing but good things about Beat Saber.
Yeah.
I really want to play that. It's just like a rhythm game, except like you're just using your hand motions, which is cool. And
Right.
Astrobot.
Yeah, I don't think we'll talk about it much.
I don't think
but
so either.
It's people are comparing it to Super Mario 64 in VR.
Yeah.
Which yes,
Sounds awesome to me.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, that's one. There's things to play now.
Yeah.
And Tetris Effect it kind of is the catalyst for me to like, okay, maybe there's some good things to go check out finally.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw it over to Jake, which is our biggest miss award, which could be a game that maybe you wanted to play, didn't get around to, or a game that you did play, and it was a big letdown. So, Jake, what are you thinking?
This is easy, no contest at all. It sucks. Fallout 76 being a giant turd.
Yeah.
Because Fallout 3, that was like one of the first games I ever put 100 hours plus into. And Fallout 4, I bought a week before my first daughter was born. And I put in so much time because I'm like, this is my last big game that I'm going to play, and it's something special.
Right.
Fallout 76, when it was announced, I was like, okay, I'm all in. I want to play this with my friends. And then I heard nothing but horrible things about it and how buggy it was. And I didn't want to touch it. And that sucks because I love the franchise.
Yep.
Yep.
And yeah, it's unfortunate, but what are you going to do?
I'm pretty much in the same boat. I was introduced to the series in Fallout 4, played it, loved it. Then went back and played New Vegas. Loved that game
So
as well.
good. Mm-hmm.
And then, so I got super hyped because I felt like the one thing this game was missing was multiplayer, playing this game with my friends. And then Fallout 76 was released, and the idea came out. I'm like, all right, I'm game. Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And then stuff started to come out for it. I'm like, this looks like hot trash. It's not looking great. I'm not going to pre-order it. Then one of my friends did, and then everyone who I've heard from that pre-ordered it has regretted it.
I bet. Because I am guessing in 6 months, this will at least be $30, if not free to play.
Yeah.
I can totally see that, just to get some type of money revenue out
Sell
of it.
somebody the $5 hat.
You have to. Someone's going to get it.
Yeah.
All right, Andy, what are you feeling?
I'd like to pay homage quickly to the eternal miss of Final Fantasy 15, which came out last year.
Damn it. Yeah, we get it.
This year, however, I'm going to go back to Battle for Azeroth. Wow. I think it was disappointing more because do you guys remember there was the cinematic that came out? I think it was during the Super Bowl. There was like the
Trailer.
yeah, there was the cinematic trailer with the big battle scene that looked like the Lord of the Rings battle, and then they res everybody, and it just looked cool. It was a really cool trailer.
Yeah.
And Legion was a big step forward since Warlords of Draenor, which was I think universally garbage. Yeah, everyone really kind of hated it. Legion kind of stepped it up and changed the mechanics enough that it was fun again. And then this game kind of did the same thing, didn't really innovate much, and the only thing I feel like it did was they ruined some of the stuff that made Legion great, and they made the kind of MMOs have kind of this treadmill where you get on the treadmill, you gotta start moving, you gotta start getting your gear level up, your power higher. The treadmill was so transparent and obvious that it just kind of killed the whole thing for me.
Interesting.
So, yeah, and I don't know, it hasn't killed it so bad that I won't try out the next expansion, but it's kind of left a really sour taste in my mouth.
All right, my biggest miss was a game I hyped up based off expectations and probably haven't given enough time to go back to, but is my miss, and that is Red Dead Redemption 2. I really hyped this game up.
Damn, John.
I tried getting into it, and maybe I haven't devoted enough time, but with so much to play, if I'm not hooked within like 3 or 4 hours, then I'm ready to move on to something else. And that game did not hook me in the first 3 or 4 hours.
And it's surprising me like how polarizing that game is. Either you hate it or you love it.
Right? Because it sold gangbusters.
Yeah.
People still talk about like you got to get going further for really to get to its hooks in you. And just I haven't committed the time.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And admittedly, I haven't played that game yet because I knew I wasn't going to have enough time to dedicate to it. So I can't give my opinion out to that. But I loved the first game. And I've heard so many people that loved the first game. Some of them couldn't get into this one. And that just blows my mind.
Exactly. Especially with the hype and the praise going into it.
Yeah.
I called this shit so hard. I just want to remind everybody that I called the disappointment or I wasn't really saying it was disappointing, but I was saying, I have no hype for this. Not into it. Boom, baby. There we go.
Well, that being said, let's go and jump to the best gaming moment, which is also open to interpretation. It could be a moment within a game, gaming community, or it could be just announcement as well. So, Andy, you're going to kick this one off.
I might take yours, John.
Okay.
Because we kind of vibe on this, but my favorite series of moments would be the trailers, speculation, all that for the Smash characters coming up.
Yeah.
Because I really get into that cycle, and I'm the guy in group chat saying, "Oh my God, there's a new leak for."
That's all you did.
Jake hates it. And
even when the leaks, you knew 100% that they were not real. You're like, "Oh, guys, here's the new beef. Here, go listen to this. It's crazy. Could this be true?"
I want you to listen to all this and realize that Jake sent everyone an article from IGN saying,
"I did because I knew
the 5 DLC characters."
I knew you'd pull your pud over it.
No, I said fuck that, because probably the best moment from this entire thing was the Grinch leak that was fake. That was done so well. I don't think it was even done well anymore. Now that I'm looking back at it,
Okay.
it was well created, but there were so many coincidences that like backed up the theory that it just became such a thing. And then when they dropped the hammer with the Incineroar trailer, which basically said this is all fake, that was great, and I loved it.
Nice.
But I'm not going to follow any more speculation. All leaks are dead, and the Grinch killed them.
So I would agree with you. But I came up with an alternate just in case.
You knew I was going to take that.
Brain train.
Yep.
So what I thought was really cool, and it's kind of a cop-out because I think the whole industry feels this way, but was the 3 bigs on the Video Game Awards stage. I thought that was really cool. Seeing people who, in all sense, are competing against each other.
Yeah.
Just, I don't really care about the message they're saying, like, let's all play together going forward.
Yeah.
It's just that you don't see that often at all.
Sure.
3 big heads like that on stage when it's usually just a competition. So I thought that was a cool gaming moment.
Okay.
Very unique.
They should have gone up with the Prince of Fortnite or whatever. Because that was kind of the thing that brought them together, I guess. Because Sony was saying they weren't gonna
Ninja.
Yeah. No, not Ninja. I don't know.
I don't know who you're talking
whoever
about.
owns Fortnite, but they were saying they weren't gonna do crossplay, Sony, for a long time.
Yeah,
and
Fortnite was a catalyst for that.
I feel like when they finally caved, it was the point where okay, we can all stand on a stage together.
Yeah. Even so, Sony's still got ways to go on that direction.
Yeah. It was cool to see, but it just made all of them look equally good. It was more of a PR thing than anything.
Yeah. All right, Brent, what are you thinking?
So if we're doing community,
You don't have to.
Well, I'll say my community thing because it actually is the overall lead up of Smash.
Okay.
I thought it was just gonna be another Smash game. I haven't really been that hyped for a Smash game before, and it's probably mainly due to you guys hyping it up so much.
Probably.
Yeah, we do that.
We do
You're
that.
welcome.
Every week or something. It was Nintendo was saying like how many characters it was gonna be, how many maps it was gonna be, when they were releasing all the details about it, who was gonna be in it. It got to me, and it's been a blast the couple times I've played it so far. So
Sure.
as far as personal experience, best gaming moment, it's not a particular moment. It's a certain game as a whole. I never found myself annoyed in like certain things in some games. There's always usually something that annoys me, or it's like trivial. Like, okay, let's just get past this, get done. But this game, through and through, was outstanding to me, and it was Subnautica.
Oh.
I don't even know what that is.
It's PC only, and
That's why I don't know what it is.
There you go.
it's been in development for.
I think it just came to PS4.
Did it?
I think so.
It's been in development for like 4 or 5 years now, and it just released this year. And you basically crash land on this water-filled planet, and it's like a survival / exploration game, and you're just by yourself. And it's all underwater.
Okay. So I think I might have heard about this. Is it kind of like Journey but underwater? Like it's got an artistic style to it?
Yeah, it's definitely beautiful.
I think I have heard of this.
Yeah.
'Cause I think it's now in VR.
I don't know if it's out yet, but I know I've heard stuff about it being in VR. Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right, Jake.
Okay, so mine outside of actual gameplay is Smash Brothers, so I'm going to do something different.
Okay.
I have kind of like a tie. I'll do second place, which is Tetris Effect, putting that on for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking blew me away, but we talked enough about Tetris Effect. I think my best single gaming moment of 2018 would probably have to be like the first main battle you get into in God of War.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
that fucking fight takes like 20-30 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's so epic. It's just like, oh, this guy. I don't want to go into spoiler territory here, but it happens within the first hour.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's not too crazy, but you span a long time, like in the sky. You go from your house, you go through your house, you just like fight this guy, and you have no idea who he is, and you're just trying to protect your son because he's just kind of hiding, and shit goes crazy.
Aren't there trailers about this or something? Or
It was new to me. I tried to go
It's
as
been called,
dark as
like,
I could.
the best superhero fight that's not about superheroes.
Yeah, like this had better superhero
Remember
fights
that.
than Spider-Man did.
it's
It's just like it's two fucking gods going at it. It's
Yeah.
so fun to play, and I wasn't the biggest fan of God of War. I never actually finished it because I thought it was a drag, and I got like 10 hours in, and kind of like you with Red Dead, I'm like, I'm done. I'm forcing myself to play at this point, and I just don't want to play anymore. But the main reason why I played as long as I did is because of that fight.
Right.
It was so fucking good. I'm like, I want more moments of this, and maybe it gets to it later in the game, but.
I'm not sure if it ever does. Maybe it comes
No?
close, but it's,
Okay.
that first fight is probably the pinnacle of like,
Yeah, I'm-
superhero moments.
I'm kind of with you there. Yeah, nothing really matches that intensity.
All right, it comes back to me for the next award, which is the worst gaming moment. Also open to interpretation, which could be a moment in a game, a moment within the community, or something just in the video game realm that you might consider pretty bad. Since I'm kicking this one off, this one really disturbed me.
Oh,
And it brings out the dark side of the internet, which I don't like.
Oh, I don't know.
okay.
And that is Bowsette.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That was conceived.
Whatever.
It was fleshed out. Literally.
Oh God!
And it was trending for 2018 in the top charts, which is disturbing.
This is the worst moment of the year for you.
Yes, because it just the pervs came out. By
Whatever.
way.
Pervs can be pervy.
I'm
They're
gonna
always
have
going to
to
be
change mine
pervy.
now.
John's thinking his own. I'm so disgusted right now.
And he's like flips to his other screen where he's drawing his own. That's it. Absolutely disgusting.
I was just like, I am over this as soon as it happened. I understand it started off as a comic strip, just as a joke, but then in classic internet fashion, it went too far.
It always does.
Yep.
Nintendo announced a few days ago that canonically only Toadette can use the Super Crown. and that said "Sorry, Luigi." I don't know what that's all about. I guess he got shipped with Bowsette.
Bowsette's
sometime.
his side piece.
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah. So
I'm glad they officially confirmed that like 6 months later.
yeah,
Up to the release of Super Mario Brothers U.
they let it ride. I think they liked the trend a little bit.
Obviously, yeah.
All right, Brent, what was your worst gaming moment?
I didn't have anything that bothered me that much.
Oh,
But mine was in Octopath. I'm not a big JRPG person anyways, but having to play all 8 characters to experience their stories.
Gotcha.
I liked having who I had for my team. I liked one other person that would interchange every once in a while, but having to put them in my party, re-level them with no real easy way of doing it, because now I've got level 40s with level 13s and 16s. And
you really broke it up then.
Like, I'm so OCD about having all at the same level.
Sure.
I don't know.
That's classic JRPG problems.
Right.
So that just frustrated the crap out of me.
There was a point in that game where I felt the curtain come back when you realize that they're all separate stories.
Yeah.
And that kind of it irked me a little bit too. I'm with you.
Yeah.
And then the game requires you to keep everybody on a same level of progression in order to progress their stories.
Or don't do it and then have to go all the way back and do basically that 20 hour of level grinding you just did all over again for 4 other people.
Yeah.
Right.
man,
Yeah,
throw this in the trash.
All right, Jake, what about you?
I didn't go gameplay wise. I went as like a whole,
Sure.
and this is kind of like my saddest moment too. It's
Okay.
when Telltale just magically shut down
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I was so sad because I love Telltale games.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and they were still making the final season of Walking Dead, and they were wholly unique in the gaming industry, and for them not to be here anymore is still kind of weird.
Yeah, especially
So-
with the level of progression they were going, just to have it cave in like that.
Yeah, I think they were trying to go too big too fast, and it
Yep.
kind of caught up with them.
Yep.
Yeah, it just sucks altogether. That's my worst moment.
I gotcha.
Well, we talked about Fallout 76, so I'm not going to talk about it as a game too much, but I think the entire launch cycle, which is, by the way, still ongoing with controversy about Fallout products and the launch of this game, the entire thing was just such a shit show. I think it deserves a mention. So, on release, glitches, people aren't going to handle that anymore because it's online.
Mm-hmm.
People were disappointed in the product, whatever, that's great. The whole thing with the collector's edition, with the bags, that I'm pretty
yeah.
sure
God.
only happened because the game sucked. People start nitpicking this thing, and they say, look, you said we were going to get a canvas bag. This thing's vinyl. We're suing you. Class action. Bethesda decided in order to fix that, they were going to give you in-game currency worth $5.
Yeah.
Right.
Clearly not good enough. People were still pissed. Then they caved, decided they're going to make the canvas bags. So over the next 6 months, people who ordered this thing are going to get canvas bags.
And what are they going to do with those canvas bags?
Put them in a closet or burn them.
They're going to do nothing.
It doesn't matter, but it's all about the principle of the thing.
It is.
And now, I think this would not be happening if it weren't for all that controversy either. Bethesda was releasing this limited edition rum, Nuka rum, in these bottles that are like the bottles from the game.
Nice.
At least on the ad, you say nice. In the ad, it looked like they were going to be the rocket-shaped bottles from the game. So that's like a collector's item by itself.
I'd
even
buy
if
one
you-
for that,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out, it's in a plastic case that looks like that, and it's a regular bottle.
Bitches.
Now people are pissed off about that. So there's just this train of anger that's going toward Bethesda in general and
What
that
the fuck's
game.
going on?
So I think it's just everyone's so mad about 76, and they're not willing to put up with Bethesda's like lack of quality anymore and give them
Sure.
a pass for having a great game, which admittedly, like, all their games have been buggy as hell. So what do you expect? But
like just to have the reputation of being buggy and then get worse.
Yeah.
and then get worse, and then have a bunch of other controversies that kind of become horrible, like blown out of proportion things.
Sure.
It's going to continue.
Yeah.
And then into their next release.
They got
so,
a lot to prove for sure.
Yeah.
Will they have
We'll
an
see what
E3
happens.
show this year?
Yep.
Do you think?
I think so.
Even though like they have like a PR nightmare on their hands.
Show what?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm thinking.
Starfield.
We'll give you another trailer for Oblivion. We haven't started.
Skyrim
Online.
You can now play Fallout on Alexa.
Rage 2, which I don't
Oh.
see an Excite train for that.
Yeah.
Isn't that gonna be out in March?
Maybe.
I think it's early
Okay,
this year.
so they might have something.
I don't even know.
Exactly.
I bet they don't show up.
All right, our last few awards here are kind of more towards classic, we're going to call it awards that you see in video games or award shows. But we thought I think these 3 awards kind of geared towards our group. So first one's going to be best story / narrative. And I'm going to throw it over to Brent with your award.
So, I know it's going to not be any surprise to you, but I actually did think about this one, and I thought about going with Octopath, because even though you have to play all the characters, we talked about it.
Hey, you're just bitching about it.
I know, but the story is still pretty good.
Okay.
Right.
But for me, actually, once I thought about it, it is World of Warcraft.
Oh.
I mean, from expansion to expansion, what maybe a class you don't like or a dungeon you don't like or something about the mechanic of the game that bothers you, something that World of Warcraft has always done pretty much immaculately is the story and the lore. And even if I don't end up playing much of the expansion, one of the things I do is listen to podcasts, listen to YouTube channels, and for just the lore that goes on within the game.
That's like one thing I don't ever associate with World of Warcraft.
I don't either.
Well, because 90% of the people who play don't really care about the story.
Sure. It's
like,
just about the gameplay
I'm
loop.
getting to this level, I'm getting gear, and then I'm going to this dungeon, killing these guys. This is how I do it.
Yeah, that's a weird pick. Threw me off.
Yeah, me too. Random question, Brent. Have you used that World of Warcraft cookbook I got you like 3 years ago?
I still have it, but I actually haven't used it.
Okay, I was curious.
I actually looked at that today because I went into my desk and was looking for this piece of paper, so I just skimmed over that.
Wait, you haven't made cooked quillbore? Seared murloc? Where do you get those ingredients?
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, Jake, what are you thinking?
Best story. I've probably, out of all of us here, I've probably played the least amount of games here. And this is the game that I am currently playing that I am thoroughly impressed with. Because I thought every story has been told in this genre, in this series. But Spider-Man has blown me away.
Good.
Spider-Man is fan-fucking-tastic.
Awesome.
And the story, the gameplay is great, but the story is equal to its greatness. It's fantastic. I have nothing bad to say about it. It's throwing me in ways that I didn't think it was going to go. For comic book stuff, you think it's just going to go down this one path and go down it and whatever. As long as it's solid, it's fine.
Yeah.
But this is making its own little universe in itself. It's like the Insomniac universe for Spider-Man. And
Yeah.
I am in love with it.
That's good to hear because I really wanted you to play this game.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying it.
Yep. I'll talk more about it later.
There you go.
All right. I went with God of War, which I don't think is too surprising for anyone who's played it. I really like how I think they did a few things that really enhanced the story for me. I think by making it that single shot for the whole game, you kind of take this, what should be, you can think about stuff going on behind the scenes, what should be like an epic, world-encompassing story becomes this very personal thing between Kratos and his son. And I think they really fleshed that story out really well, and they kind of paralleled that, not to spoil anything, but with some other characters in the game. And I thought it was as someone who has no children, I thought you would actually like this more, Jake, for having kids and all that. But
No, he just treated his son like a fuck. I hated
yeah,
it.
but it's I'd go back to it if I were you, but it never really lives up to that first fight. But story wise, it's really incredible.
Since I knew I wasn't going to go back to it, I've seen playthroughs and read spoilers on it and stuff. And even the twist at the end, I'm like, that's what people are freaking out about.
Well, that twist was dumb. That twist doesn't matter. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that twist is just like something they threw onto the end. But some of the stuff where Kratos is explaining why he named his son the certain way, I really liked some of that stuff.
Some of the best moments are when you're sitting in the boat and you're getting told a story instead of progressing. You actually sit there and just listen to people talk. And I did that too when I was playing, but it wasn't enough for me to continue my
that was
path.
one of the few games where if you get to your destination before the story's done, I would sit there docked off the edge of where I'm going to make sure it finishes, because I enjoyed it so much.
From everything I've seen in that game, I thought the boy's name was actually just Boy.
Boy. It's a Bird Box situation.
I'm just going to piggyback off Andy because I also chose God of War. And for me, it was just the awesome. I agree with everything you said about the story, and it's how it captures you, but also just the I talked about this before with the Video Game Awards, but just the narrative behind the one-shot camera and experiencing the world for the first time with Kratos and Artemis through this perspective. It's just a great storytelling mechanic, and I love that narrative. And I didn't think it would work when I first heard that they were doing this, but after completing the game, just like, wow, I'm glad it worked the way it did for this game. And like, I don't think it needs to be applied to all games, but it's definitely a cool take on how you experience what, quote unquote, an open world, not so much an open world, but God of War tale. So it was a cool way to explore that game and enjoy the narrative behind it. So, all right, so I'm going to throw it over to Jake now for best soundtrack.
Okay, so I've split it down into two caveats here. It's either going to be best original soundtrack or it's going to be like best history of music soundtrack. Because Smash Brothers has over like 1,000 tracks. Or
That's
close
true.
to 1,000 tracks. And some of them are good. A lot of their remixes, because 2 nights ago, I sat down for over an hour and just went stage by stage to see, okay, what music do I want to play the most and the least and everything.
Oh, nice.
Because I did that in Wii U and I liked it so much that I did it for the Ultimate too. And it's fun, but I would say close to half of the music tracks are like remixes that they decided to do exclusively for Ultimate. And they fucking suck. They're just like rehashes of old music, except like done worse.
Oh, really?
So I think for that reason alone, I'm not going to go for Smash Brothers, and I'm going to go with Celeste.
Ooh, nice.
Celeste fucking blew me away in this fucking arena. It's like the only video game soundtrack that I've actually pulled songs from and have put on my Spotify playlist.
Yeah.
Because they're so good and they're so varied. And
Yeah,
I've never been like chiptune music is fine, but I've never been like pulled into it. This shit I will listen to on a loop and be fine. Like my daughter and I went for a walk yesterday and I just put it on and she was liking it, and it's just enjoyable to listen to whether you're playing a game or not.
Agreed.
And I think out of any video game that I've played, like that music just sticks with me. Like even talking about it, there's like one song that's stuck in my head, and the songs are long. They're like 7 to 10 minutes for each track.
Right.
But they vary, like each like 2.5 or 3 minutes. They change everything. Like they change genre, for fuck's sake, to go with the gameplay. But even just listening to it on its own, it's still it fucking hits. I love it. Celeste is my pick.
All right, Andy.
Number 1, Shovel Knight has way better chiptunes than
No.
Celeste.
No.
By the way. Number 2,
Have you listened to Celeste?
All the Smash Ultimate, from what I've heard.
Yeah, don't talk shit.
Number 2, all the Smash Ultimate remixes are fucking great.
Some
They're
of them
amazing.
are
All
great.
the remixes are great.
No!
I had the same thought. I was like, if I had to give it out, I'd give it to Smash Ultimate because it's such a breadth of music. To pull out a word, breadth. But
That's a word.
Yeah, that's definitely a word. And I really liked all the remixes. So screw you. But I'm gonna give it to for an original soundtrack. I'm gonna give it to Spider-Man.
Wow.
Because I really liked the I think I've gone through this before a little bit. I like the flourish of like
love
the
it so
heroic
much.
music. I really like that soundtrack. I don't like it by itself if you're not playing the game.
Yeah.
It's kind of boring. But when you're playing the game, it's like this heroic just it
When
really
you first
fits the
start
game.
swinging,
Yeah.
and it
Oh,
starts
I love
like
it.
building up,
Yep.
like
It's the most Sam Raimi moment.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah. It really
it plays
pulls you
well in
into
the
that.
game.
It
It really
does.
does.
It pulls you into that mood of like, I am Spider-Man, I'm swinging. I think if you didn't put the soundtrack behind it, the swinging doesn't work as well. It still works, but
Yeah.
it definitely builds on the gameplay itself, which is what you want a soundtrack to do.
That's the only thing that sticks in my head though. Like I can't think of anything else in that game musically that like I can even like pull from my brain, and I have been playing it all week.
That's kind of what I'm thinking too. Like I could listen to the tracks on YouTube or whatever, and it wouldn't really hit me that much. But when you're in the game in the moment, you definitely notice it kind of building on how epic the game is in certain moments. So
Very
I'm
nice.
giving it to Spider-Man.
I'm a sucker for orchestrated stuff and stuff that just adds like a sense of grandiose to like moments in the game. And I knew this from day one playing this game and continuing to listen to the soundtrack the whole year. And that's Octopath Traveler.
I knew.
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yep. I knew you
Yeah.
were going that way.
I thought you might go God of War.
Oh no,
That's got some big epic
it does. Like,
opera-esque
definitely
shit.
primarily one that's like outstanding.
Okay.
It's like the main overture for God of War.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I love it. Octopath has that, but several other pieces that just, man, thinking about the game, but like it's like you said about Celeste, like you can take that away from the game, and I can listen to that soundtrack endlessly.
Sure.
It's just so good. Yeah, and it kind of hits all the notes that I like about listening to music over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why Octopath took it for me.
So I as well love orchestrated stuff. So Octopath was my number 2.
Ooh, we're all different. I like this.
But
Is this WoW?
no.
Thank God.
No, again. No, actually, Octopath Traveler has about 3 hours of, and it's mainly orchestrated stuff. And what I liked about my number 1 is that it's like an hour and a half, but there is such a variety to it. Plus, there's always going to be a special place in my heart for 8-bit soundtrack.
Oh boy.
That's why my number 1 is definitely 100% Celeste.
Oh.
Yay!
Oh,
So
all
not
right.
so different.
A couple months ago, you guys were talking about it,
Uh-huh.
and I had no idea. It was never on my radar.
Yeah.
And I looked it up, and then watched a couple of gameplay videos of it, and then I started playing it.
It fucking hits.
And
It's so
holy
good.
God, like most games, soundtracks are. I love them when they're good, but otherwise I just kind of tune it out when I'm playing, and I don't really pay attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
This is almost as good as the gameplay to me in Celeste.
Yep.
Wow.
Right there with you.
It's amazing.
That's
It
good.
just adds to everything that you're doing in
Yeah.
the game, and like when you go like further up the mountain in like a certain stage, the music just fucking changes and it gets you into
Right.
it again. Like, okay,
Right.
I'm gonna fucking go. Let's keep on climbing.
Plus, the game is tough,
Yeah.
so like you get super frustrated, but the soundtrack is usually just so. I don't know. It's perfect. Like it's hard to get mad because it's such a great soundtrack.
I think we'll be talking about Celeste quite a bit through this episode.
I can't wait.
Right. So I have some things to say, but I'm going to wait. So we're down to our final award, and I think it's going to be some bleed over here, actually, because our final award is Best Indie Game.
Okay.
And we're throwing over to Andy Guild first.
I didn't play many indie games. The only one I really played, Dead Cells. It's fine.
Hollow Knight too.
I'll give it to Dead. Well, that came out last year, technically.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I
No! Spider-Man!
well, that's the second time that's happened. First time on camera. Dead Cells was fun. It's not as it isn't as good as Hollow Knight. It's that kind of the procedurally generated thing sometimes feels kind of empty and soulless. But I did play a lot of it. I never beat it. It's insanely hard. But
You never beat it.
No, never beat it.
Interesting.
It's very, very hard. I've gotten pretty far in it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the time I had with it. If I had played Celeste, honestly, I probably would be giving it to Celeste or something more high profile. Maybe Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of a weird title that came out. It's half off on Steam right now. I think I'm going to check it out. But
If you're watching this when this gets released, Celeste is free with games with gold on Xbox for
Yeah.
January.
I don't have a fucking Xbox.
Oh my God. Okay, I can't help you.
Well, whatever. It's on Switch. I'm giving it to Dead Cells because that's all I can give it to, really.
Okay, I understand. Yeah, my best indie game is Celeste.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
I didn't play too
Over
many.
Octopath?
Octopath.
Octopath is
that's
Square
not
Enix.
indie.
That's not indie at all.
That's
Oh, you don't-
AAA and Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
To me, at least.
Yeah.
Especially like, I mean, Celeste screams indie. How it's built. But
it's made by like 6 people.
Yeah, and they have like a more indie version of it inside the main game. That's built with like a Pico 8 machine, which is like used for cheap games. But yeah, this is like the definition of indie for me. I'm glad I picked it up when I did. I'm glad I can go back to it and still enjoy it. And we'll talk about more of this later, but best indie game, Celeste.
This was tough for me.
Okay.
This was split between Subnautica and Celeste.
Oh, sure.
Is
So-
Subnautica considered indie?
It is.
Okay, interesting.
I had to give it to Subnautica just because the overall experience. It doesn't have really much of a soundtrack, but I just thoroughly enjoyed myself the entire time I was playing that game. Like it's just so amazing to look at. Yeah.
Mine's Celeste. I'll talk about it later.